What is up, y'all? Welcome back. Today we're gonna be playing with a bunch of new stuff at Sephora. Starting with, actually this isn't new, but it's new to me. I was convinced by y'all to pick up the High Glam Concealer from Natasha Denona. I also have the new HD Skin Face Essentials palette from Makeup Forever. I've been using this quite a bit and I'm very excited to share my thoughts on it. And blush-wise, I'm finally giving the people what they want. Y'all have been asking me to do khaki and pink, okay? I have been doing coral, I've been doing lilac, I've been doing mauve, I've been doing beige, but I always steer clear of pink and everybody's like, let's see some pink. So we're gonna do some pink today. I picked up another one of the new NARS blushes. I mean, it's a reformulation, but it reignited my excitement in them, and this is Sex Appeal. Wow, is it a light pink? And I'm going to combine that, I haven't tried it yet, but I think it's gonna go well, with the new Color Fuse Glassy Blush Balm in Glassy Pomelo from Haus Labs. I bought 3 of these. I already have some thoughts on them, but we're going to experience them together. And then I also have this little guy. I bought the Gisou Watermelon Sugar lip gloss, and I'll probably be using that. And I figured on my eyes today, since these are on sale half off right now at Sephora, I would dip back into my Anastasia Nouveau palette. Not the palette going back to full price. God. That's a lot of makeup. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and jump in. So I'm starting with the One Size Secure the Glow Tacky Hydrating Primer. This and the Lisa Eldridge Skin Tint have been my combo of choice for my complexion lately, and the Lisa Eldridge is not available at Sephora, but the One Size is. So I've been doing a lot of, not a lot of, but like some comparison videos recently because there's been these products that are coming out like in hunks, right? It's like a bunch of liquid bronzers and then like the whole collection from Kosas. And so I wanted to just loosen up. Those are so time consuming and they end up being such short videos, and sometimes I just want to put out Khaki the feature film. So let's go in with the Lisa Eldridge. I think that this is proving to be like not just one of my favorite things that I've used in a really long time, but it's really cost effective because you use so little of it. Like, look at that. I remember I first tried it with a sponge and it worked fine, but it's not necessary. And I am never a fingers girl, but like, this is just the most effortless complexion product. It has the thinness of like the Glossier, but it has more coverage. It has about the coverage of the old Kosas tinted oil, but it's as sophisticated as like, you know, a regular skin tint. All right, let's get into actual things from Sephora here. So starting with the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. Y'all know I have had a little bit of a, do I need to scoot over? Or do I need to turn the camera? I think I need to turn the camera a little bit. Anyway, this is in N1, and like I was saying, I've had a bit of a renaissance of love for Natasha Denona's products recently. I both discovered her new, yeah, everybody needs some concealer in their eyebrow khaki. I discovered the new highlighter as well as the fact that if I used natural bristle brushes on her palettes, I could actually make use of them, which they used to be quite frustrating for me, but made all the difference in the world. So I'm gonna use the A506 from BK to blend this. I don't know yet. I need to do like a side-by-side wear test or something, but I don't know yet how it compares to the high coverage concealer from Jouer, which is like my new love. I think that it's a good shade. I think that it is a lot less matte than I was thinking it was going to be, which is great. And I do actually kind of like my concealer to go a little bit more matte than my foundation, just because obviously we want a little bit of coverage, right? So let's talk about this. We've got 12 shades. This is like $81, I think. And it is 2 highlighters, 4 blushes, and 6 like complexion shades. I'm gonna swatch them for you because we're not gonna be using the blushes today. We're gonna be using, you know, the other blushes that I was talking about. But these 2 right here are worth the price of the palette. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but they're worth the price of the palette in and of themselves. And it's this like rusty brown, like terracotta color, and this absolutely perfect mauve, like so good. Those are the highlighters. I have been using both of them interchangeably. Obviously, you know, the pearly one is gonna give you more of a reflect, whereas the pink one is gonna kind of blend more into your blush. I have made use of every single color in this palette so far. So let me go ahead and swatch the complexion colors here. We have a contour, 2 what I would consider to be concealer shades for me, and then 3 kind of flexible bronzer shades. And of course, I'm going to get more use out of some of the bronzers than others, but it's important to look at these all together because the undertones are different. And I always say, it's not like I choose a bronzer and that's my bronzer of life forever. There are a lot of bronzers in my collection, and a lot of them are very different undertones, and they still all work on me. It just depends on my mood and the look I'm going for. Here we have the contour. that is lovely. Honestly, it's very, very cool toned, but it still has kind of a peach backing to it. Do you see that? It's very like skin friendly. It's not just this pure gray. And this is probably the bronzer, obviously, because it's the darkest one that I would get the least use out of. Plus it's very golden. I need something a little bit more neutral rosy. Honestly, I use both of these bronzers together, even though this one is the better match. It's the lightest one. This one being a little bit olive, kind of works. Like, it's kind of lovely. So I can get use out of two of those very easily. And then these two are what I would consider to be the concealer shades. So that very, very pale pink one and then like a medium peach, you can kind of mix and match. So I can understand that there's a divide between people who find 12 pans of a cream color really liberating, or if they find it really intimidating because they're like, well, I don't know what to do with that. But most of the feedback that I've gotten from even makeup beginners in my life, people who don't even wear like full-on complexion, they're like, no, that's great. Like, I don't have to think about what goes where, I just put the color. And it's like, I've always felt like that was kind of a basic way to approach things, but it's good to hear other people say the same thing because obviously I always want my recommendations to be easy to use. So I'm going to start with this here. This is the, what I consider to be the lightest bronzer shade. The pans are generous. I actually adore the size of this. It feels really sturdy. It's very substantial, but it's also like very good use of space. For all the people out there who get super annoyed by poor uses of space for like artistic decision reasons, you know, in makeup products, this is one of the most satisfying things. Now, when I did my members only live on Patreon, which you can sign up for, it's patreon.com/khaki, and it's like $1. We just get weird. There's a live chat. It's fun. Someone asked, do these pop out? And they don't have the invitation to pop out the way that a Natasha Denona palette does, where you actually like have the pinholes. But someone with experience in it in my chat was like, Makeup Forever is a brand that doesn't make it too difficult. Like ABH, that's the most difficult one. Probably followed very, very closely by like Pat McGrath in terms of depotting. But I think that someone said like it would take, you know, a little blow dryer to the back or something like that, if anything, to just kind of pop these out. Plus they're cream, so they're not gonna shatter. I just know that someone's going to ask. I personally am not a depotter. The thing that I also really like about this, and I'm just going in with the contour now, same brush, woo! That's a lot, is that you don't have to pick the colors. I don't always think that that is the best option. Like sometimes I just don't want to think. Sometimes I don't want to have to wait around for like the one color I want to like come back in stock or whatever. Like I just kind of want the palette to work. Now, there is a defense for the fact that like, yes, I might run out of one of these before another, sure. And like buying the whole palette again is a little bit frustrating, but like it would be a really long time before this ran out on you, like any shade. It's very, very, as you saw, like highly pigmented, more so than other like cream products that I've used. And so I do get ahead of myself sometimes, but you saw it also resolves very, very easily. Does it have any kind of dry down? No. It's obviously not gonna be greasy and like super, super emollient. It really isn't. It's actually pretty packed with pigment for the amount of like, I don't know, slippiness that there is, but it's never gonna become like transfer proof. So there is that. And I kind of wanna take just a little bit of this shade right here, which is like the deeper peacher, you would argue concealer, right? And just see if I can bridge like I would with the Victoria Beckham bronzer, like the kind of gradient underneath my eyes a little bit. Does that help? Because the whole thing, right, is to not have anything that's particularly distracting. You don't want your eye to be drawn to one specific thing, or at least I don't. Like I just want it to be like one big, pretty face. Got the big part down. Okay, so, I mean, we might go with more bronzer, but I want to keep, I don't know, a minimal amount of product on my face since we're going to be mixing powders and creams. I do think that I'm going to touch this with just a little bit of Laura Mercier powder just to make sure that the NARS blush goes on okay. I don't know if this is really necessary, but I just want to make sure. And the beauty of this Laura Mercier, this is the pressed translucent powder, the new one. It just doesn't really take down any color, which is lovely. It's so translucent that it doesn't change the color of my makeup. My sister has oily skin and she lives in the city and she's kind of out and about a lot. And I texted her and I was like, you need this. And she was like, I already went to the launch party. I already have it and it's amazing. I live in the burbs, so she always gets to go to the cool parties and I'm always the one being like, hey, have you heard of this? And she's like, yeah, I know the owner. What's the big deal? So, here we go. Sex appeal. NARS always out here trying to get me demonetized. Ooh, It's so pretty. Wait. Oh my gosh. Yes, so again, I'm trying to give the people what they want because everybody's been asking me, not everybody, but like every time I say, I'm just like, oh, this color is just kind of like straight down the middle pink. I think that there is a little bit of like some kind of internalized like childhood rebellion almost of just being like, I'm a girl and you're not going to put me in pink. Which is just so silly. But a lot of people have been like, come on, khaki, like let's see some pink. So it's actually really funny because I don't see that as being particularly peach, but it is going on me kind of peach. I mean, it's definitely still pink, but like I have golden undertones. It's really lovely. It's really, really pretty. I don't think that there's much to say that I haven't said about that formula. I love it, but the color is fantastic. I will probably put a little bit more on at some point. Well, that's actually, I'm not sure. I might take that back because this is wild. The Haus Labs blushes are wild, okay? I have some thoughts already. The first thought is the package is chintzy. I'm just not a fan of the packaging. If it's metal, it's really lightweight metal. It's plastic on the inside coated with metal, and it just feels really chintzy and rattly. And I know that like that's probably as much product that's in, you know, other things, but it doesn't feel like very much. But all that to say, they're really pigmented. They're like really pigmented. So it's really interesting too because they're called glassy and they're not glassy. You have to be so careful. I'm taking like, I just want to get it evenly on the brush, but like they are so packed with pigment, it's kind of difficult to get them to work. I'm just trying to get it evenly on the brush before I go in here. And I'm saying I used none and it's just going on so pigmented. I made the mistake of using the lilac one like directly in on the skin and just completely ruined a makeup look. So do you see that that's not giving glassy, really? I wanted it to be so much more gel-like. I wanted it to be so much more, not even translucent, just present. Do you see how it's kind of dull? And all of a sudden you can see my pigmentation through my makeup that you couldn't see before. It's just really not a very flattering formula. And I wanna like them because I bought 3 of them. I wanna like them. Ugh, see, I got ahead of myself. There's too much. They're so vivid, they're so packed with pigment that like it's really hard to get something quote unquote glassy from them. So there's hibiscus and what was the other one? Pomelo. And then of course I'm like the most excited about the lilac one. And you can get it to work, but like, yo, yikes. It's really, really neon and it's really, really pigmented. I mean, obviously I did an okay job here, but it wasn't fun and it wasn't easy. We're just gonna pump the brakes and leave that there for now. Honestly, I always go in with more blush at the end anyway, but maybe if anything, we'll do Coquette, which is the new one from Westman Atelier. And it is very much the same color as Pomelo, and Coquette is just way better. Okie dokie. Yeah, the socket line on my eyes now is very, very evident, very visible. That's just something that my eye goes straight to, even though we worked to blend that. A touch on the frustrating side, just a touch. I'm actually so excited to dip back into this Anastasia palette because I haven't touched it in so long. I got so in love with the Rose Metals palette and it came out so quickly after this one that it almost slipped my memory. Like I'm not even sure what I think about this other than the fact that I really like the formulas. But the color story is admittedly kind of bananas, like with that weird lilac in the middle of it, but here we are and it's half price at Sephora. So let's do it, let's get in. Plus, I don't know, I feel lately like I'm equipped with more knowledge of like how I like to wear makeup, especially eyeshadow. I used to feel really daunted by eyeshadow and now I feel like I'm the one in control, which is a weird, I don't know what made that change for me, but I'm gonna start with the A503 from Angie Hot and Flashy, and we're gonna start with the shade Fleur. Now, if you've been using luxury eyeshadows for a while and you dip back into an ABH palette, you're gonna go, oh my God, I forgot what it was like to use a 2016 level eyeshadow formula because they do have just so much pigment because that was what we equated with quality. And the luxury eyeshadows, it's like a horseshoe, right? It's like drugstore and luxury both have like low pigment. And then the prestige ones are like, no, the more pigment, the better. Like that's how you get your money's worth. It's like, not always. I want things that blend really easily and are close to my skin tone. I think I've also both become aware of exactly how light my skin is, and that like using something that looks like it's not going to show up is probably going to show up really beautifully on me, because I didn't always perceive my skin as light as it was, kind of thing, compared to the products that I was putting on it. And also, I have gotten less afraid to say I like boring looks. I think that there was this pressure for a long time because I'm on year 7? Yeah, I'm on year 7. In the beginning, I feel like there was always this pressure to do a different eye look every time and something really interesting, you know? And what we've come around to is we want to watch creators do makeup that they enjoy and that looks at home on them because it's what they like to wear and what looks good on them. And so some of us love a really bright color and it works really well. And then some of us, me, don't. Like occasionally I'll have a moment, but I'm not a high contrast girly. And I think that my sense of color theory has also come in really handy. So we now have the shade Metro right here. I think that that's gonna go sort of outer corner and like lash line a little bit. So the other one, the Rose Metals palette, breaks down very easily into 3 quads. That it's like a purple quad, an orange quad, and a green quad kind of thing. And I was trying to see if this one does too, because there are definitely like individual color stories within each of these palettes that I think make them a little less approachable. I think that Anastasia has actually done a pretty good job of that over the years, of making these palettes that like, okay, maybe they're not the most user-friendly color story straight out of the gate, but they also give you an abundance of looks inside of one palette, and they do still kind of like stay within a mood. And I like the moods on these. Now, am I ever gonna use Peacock? No. Am I ever gonna use Muse? No. And so it's like, I think that the mentality has also changed around palettes, where people are like, if I don't intend to make use of every single one of those shades at some point, then I don't want to buy the palette. And I think that we've become so discerning in that respect because there is so much makeup on the market. So we deserve to be that discerning. I actually really love that color Metro on brown eyes. I think that kind of pink against the brown is nice. It makes them pop. So we are going obviously tonal. I feel like that's my thing at this point. People just expect me to always do tonal. So Lily is our friend today. I think that that's going to be quite lovely. I do want to kind of be gentle with this though. I don't want the eye look to completely steal the show. That is so freaking beautiful. Good grief. Yeah, I think that it's gonna steal the show no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter how little of this you put on. It's so pretty. Oh my God, it's intoxicating. Look at that color. Look at it. It's like, you can't even see all the different shifts on the glitter on camera. Oof. I think another thing that's made a difference for me is not going like super hard underneath my eyes, just kind of making sure that it doesn't feel abrupt by extending it a little bit on the outer corner, but anything else kind of makes me look really made up in a big hurry. So I'm gonna actually just blend that with Paloma, which is the white color in there, the creamy color. And I'm gonna take something and just blend, yeah, oh, it's so cute, A504, and just make sure that all of our edges are really blended. You know, before the BK collab, I did not know who Nikki LaRose was. Our internet's, you know, all of our little echo chambers. You can just like be on the internet for years and not know who Naomi John is, and then find her and she's got 2.1 million subscribers, and you're like, why have I never heard of this person who's my exact personality match? Unrelated, but if you have not watched Naomi John's new music video, it is so good. It is like such a dopamine hit. The song is so good. The video is so good. I am so obsessed with her. Because of that collab, I started following Nikki LaRose, and God, where have I been? Like, her makeup skills, her voice, like there's something about her voice.
Happy day 27 out of 30 days of different lip combos. We're almost at the end. I have a new favorite lip liner from Kosas. I'm gonna pair it with an old faithful.
I just wanna like, she could read me the phone book. She's lovely. She's got so much talent. She's so pretty. Like, anyway, I'm gonna go in with the Natusha Denounou highlighter here because that's what I want to do. Although I guess I could have used the one from the Makeup Forever palette. You're just gonna have to trust me, it's beautiful. Been wearing it in a lot of videos lately. And I'll take that same adorable brush, if I didn't, you know, chuck it across the room, which I probably did. No, here we go. Use that on the inner corner a little bit. Yeah, Nouveau is lovely. It's just lovely. I'm gonna do a brow and an eyeliner and a mascara. We'll come back and do the lip, and then we will chat final thoughts. so that I didn't forget to use it, and also so that I didn't chuck it across the room, because that's what I tend to do. I do still feel like this blend is not good and it's frustrating in that sense, but we do have a solution in the form of the powder blush. So Sex Appeal here also kind of works to bridge the gap. I'm using the Refer 18 for this, and we can use it to, yes, at the risk of pink face for sure, but just blend up so that we don't have that super harsh line. Okay, so the thing that I pulled here, and actually I almost want to still use that from Shelby. Once my mascara dries, I might put a little bit of that on to sort of blend the inner corner. This is M145 that I'm in love with. So beautiful. But they also sent me MOB Beauty, which is not at Sephora, also sent me M1990, which is I think like their first ever lip liner. And it kind of came out the wrong color, but it became iconic or something. And so it has this whole lore behind it, but I've never tried it. So let's try it. I'd hold it like Nikki. How does she do it? She holds it like this. That's actually really, like, that's a nice way to hold it. It's a lot of control. She did Ali Lines' makeup. Smoke show. So just blend everything. As a low contrast girly, I am the kind of person who has to have really soft lines. When you're low contrast, hard lines stick out because you don't have them naturally, you know? Nothing is standing in really stark contrast. And so as soon as you have like a solid, like a liquid liner or something, it's the only thing that you look at. So that is Shelby's shade. Well, she has two. This is M145. Then there is M146, which is kind of this chameleon shade that we need to do in a different video. It just doesn't go with this look, but it's this like taupey purple color. It's really beautiful. The clay, the cream clay formula from MOB Beauty doesn't dry down all the way, but on top of something like this, it's probably not going to crease. It's not like super like emollient. It just is a cream in a pan, you know? It is what it is. So taking a little bit of that, and this room is so warm. Oh my gosh, it's so warm. And I don't even know if you can tell what I did, but I can tell. And I just want to do this, you know? I just think it's so pretty. It's like when I used to add Hindash's Boy Tears to the inner corner, which I still would if he would ever restock them, because I ran out. Gisou, they got me on this one because they don't smell like fry oil. It smells like watermelon and it's so pretty. So yeah, that was an easy choice for me. For there being so many different products on my face today and for it having the potential to be quite glam by virtue of the formulas that I used, I think that restraint was exercised in almost every step to make sure that it doesn't look super makeup-y, but we still ended up with pink, like decidedly pink, right? And I really like it. So let's talk thoughts on the products that were new to me today. New to us, really, because I've used these all off camera. I like the High Glam from Natasha Denona, but I'm not sure that I like it as much as I like the Jouer. This right here, the Jouer Essential High Coverage Liquid Concealer. This thing has the most reliable coverage. It will really make me so confident when I have blemishes and everything, but it also really spreads out in a way that doesn't look super made up, which I love. And then this one, when it does blend out, I feel like you just lose a little tiny bit of the tenacity of the product. They really are similar in shade though. Holy crap. Wow. Wow, wow. But I have to say, I still like the Jouer better. I don't know if you can tell, but this little baby right here, this has been just such a great solution for me. I've never experienced anything that packed this much utility into such a small, sophisticated little package. These colors are chosen so deftly. I think that this is just a really, really, really useful thing to have. And it's among the things that I like to talk about when we're talking about products that solve your makeup routine. I think so much of the time, probably people sitting around in boardrooms are thinking about what's the next new product that we can find a place in someone's routine so that they can give us more of their money. And that's capitalism, right? It is what it is. But then something comes out where there's just so much utility to it. It doesn't need to be new. It's just kind of the best version of what it is. Now, MOB Beauty, if you are somebody who wants really nuanced shades, a super high performance cream product, yes, absolutely, like I sing the praises of them. And they also have powders that they can put into the palettes as well. A little more expensive, but also probably a little more product per shade. Then the MOB Beauty ones are also beautiful. It's just kind of a matter of like whether this is something that gives you comfort because it's all in one and you don't have to choose it, or if you are the kind of person who's like, if I'm gonna spend the money, I wanna pick the color. colors, okay? This one and the MOB Beauty are two formulas that I stand behind wholeheartedly. They're just fantastic. I don't know if y'all remember, but when I first reviewed MOB Beauty, the thumbnail said I'm throwing away all my makeup because it just solved everything for me. They're such sophisticated formulas. And it's just unusual to be able to expect this much versatility and wear time out of a cream, but both of those brands really give me that. But yeah, again, it's like, do you want to have it all ready made or do you want to pick it yourself? I now consider myself to be somewhat of a collector of the NARS blushes. I just think that they're lovely. I really appreciate how the shades are all very unique from what else is on the market. We talk about that all the time, how there are these new and emerging brands where in order to stay in the good graces of Business Daddy and sell on the shelves, they need to make a certain array of shades in blush, right? It needs to be like a rose, a berry, a beige, a peach, you know? And NARS is just legacy enough that they're like, we're gonna do what we want. And Sephora's like, okay. Do what you want. You can have a gigantic bay at Sephora and we're gonna show off all of your blushes. On the other end of the spectrum, we have a product that was very much created to get people to spend more money by making their own routine more complex, you know, kind of unnecessarily, one might argue. And all of the things that I suspected about the Haus Labs stick blushes when I talked about them in my Tepid Takes video, I said that it is mainly a product that's being released for the TikTok generation. It's an unproblematic release. It's something that can go viral because, I don't know, it looks phallic, and I don't know, somebody pointed that out on the live and I was like, can't unsee. And also that it just kind of is zero bar for entry in terms of who can use it. They're just colorful blush bombs. To me, this felt like a layup. You make something glassy, you make something that looks good on 18-year-old skin, 14-year-old skin. Yes, they're all in Sephora. This doesn't have to be Estee Lauder double wear. This doesn't have to be, you know, like drag makeup and like, you know, wear all day in every condition. It just has to please a 14-year-old. And yet they still managed to wet the bed on this one. It's just not good. They are overpigmented. They're hard to use. The packaging is kind of not good. And in a sea of things that exist on the market like this, they're wildly expensive for what they are. That's right. I was going to put on Coquette. Shall we do a touch of Coquette? This is a product we discussed on my members only live. It's so interesting how these blushes from Westman Atelier have been so expensive for so long. You know, it's a $48 blush, but they've never raised the prices. And so in time, it's kind of like how the Thrive Cosmetics mascara, I think it's gone up a couple of bucks since 2018, but it used to be just insane to think about a $24 mascara. And now this is like fair to middling price-wise because they just didn't crank the price up alongside everybody else and shrink the packaging no less. And so Westman Atelier being $48 for this blush, it's still a luxury item, but it doesn't feel like they're gouging you as much as it used to. You know, plus it is such a sophisticated formula. It doesn't do any of the like everything shows through and looks gray on me thing. It really wears a long time because it has a lot of powder to it. It is not a particularly dewy formula and it's just so darn sophisticated. Look at that blur. That's worth my money all day long. That's why I keep buying them. I bought these. I bought Garçon. I bought Coquette. And let me tell you, yes, these will be at Sephora. They aren't yet. But before Westman Atelier was at Sephora, none of us could monetize it. No one was making money off of Westman Atelier. We just like it. It's just good. Like we're not making a percentage of sales on that. Now we can because they're at Sephora, but there are still products that are exclusive to the Westman Atelier website. Like I don't think that they're ever going to put Mimi, for example, the shade Mimi in this on Sephora. It's just an exclusive and a lot of brands do that, but I will pay for their stuff all day long because it's so good. It's just so good. Biscuit, the Biscuit lip gloss. It's so good, but it's not on Sephora, you know, but it's like I'll sit here and sing its praises all day long and I paid my own good money for it. I don't often in just regular videos draw the distinction actually between like the products that I would own in my own personal collection versus the things that I buy for review. Westman Atelier would be kind of the like backbone probably of my routine if it was just me. They're just so good. The only thing is because of the magnets, they bully each other off the table all the time. Like they're repelling each other right now. It's hard to see that, but they're like repelling. They'll stick like that. But like you set one down next to another one, it'll just, you know, poop it right off the side of the table. They bully each other. They're always fighting. It's really funny. Coquette. all day long, all day long. And it's already live on the Westman Atelier website, but it will be on Sephora soon. I saw it. Anastasia, Nouveau. There's nothing new about this. There's nothing nouveau about it, but it is half price on Sephora right now, and it is so worth it. It's worth $55. It's surely worth $27.50. It's great. I finally, like I said, this isn't at Sephora, but this is the MOB Beauty M1990. I finally understand the hype here. Like, look at that. I thought it was going to be like 1990. You know what I mean? I thought it was gonna be brown, but like, girl, it is like such a lip cheat for me. It's so good. And I was able to put it on with basically a, you know, practically clear lip gloss with just some kind of shimmer to it and a little bit of a pink tinge, right? And I just love the way that it looks. I love the way that it feels. And I'm really glad that Gisou decided to put a fragrance in these new releases because they're so pretty. And this is a really great lip oil. And y'all saw me. I had such bad things to say about it because it smelled so bad, but I still freaking used it all the time, the original one, because it's a really good lip oil. And I was like mad about it. I was like, I use this all the time, even though it smells like freaking stale fry oil. It was supposed to be honey infused. I'm like, where's the honey? But this smells like watermelon, and I will take artificial watermelon over fry oil all day long. And it's not really a strong scent. It's just enough. And it's so pretty. And now I want the orange one. And I'll probably buy it because I don't tell myself no. And obviously Shelby's eyeshadows will be making it into more videos in the future, but M145 is just an absolute banger for me. So you saw it in the last video too. It wears beautifully as a one and done, and it also really complemented this look. It gave it that next little thing, right? What it needed. And I do believe that is all today, y'all. I am grateful for y'all to, you know, stick it out with me through a long form video because sometimes I just want to sit and chat. Just want to sit and chat and have a chatty get ready with me. And you know what? I'm seeing some people coming back to the platform. Some of the legends, okay? I mean, they're my age, but they're still legends. We got Robbie DeChristie making reviews again. Jackie Ina came back and did a get ready with me. A chatty get ready with me. I want to see everybody, new and old, come back to YouTube. I want the beauty community to come back. I miss it. I open up my feed now and there's like nobody to watch. I'm just like, come on, y'all. YouTube is so much better. Like, you get real reviews and you can actually hang out with people and you can put it on in the background. What are you supposed to do with it? Like, TikTok requires your undivided attention. You can't put it on your TV while you're like washing dishes. Anyway, that's my tirade about why I think YouTube should continue existing and why we need more people in the beauty community. Please start making beauty videos if you've been thinking about it. We need fresh blood. We need old blood too. We're just vampires. We're not picky about the blood. Okay, I've been on camera long enough. Some might argue too long. If you liked this video, please do give the video a thumbs up. I will link everything down below. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, subscribe while you're here. A lot of the videos are very useful and a lot of them are chaotic and you can pick and choose, but sometimes, you know, the flavor that you want is different every day. Same with everybody else. So I will put a video up here that you might enjoy. If you liked this one, maybe just, you know, keep that chaos going. And yeah, I love y'all. I love you. I love you. My current subscribers are the best. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. It's so hot in here. L'chaim.